Hey folks, I just wanted to show you the end results of the woodshed. I've got most of my wood in now, so you can kind of get a better feel for how much wood the shed is going to store. One thing I did notice is I thought the prevailing wind was coming from that way, and I still think most of the wind is, but it seems like we've had 2 snowstorms now. Whenever it snows, the snow is coming in the front of my woodshed and getting my wood a little snowy here. I did manage to get quite a bit of wood in here. These piles are about 4 feet high, and I went another 6 to 12 inches higher loading the wood. So, you know, inside that shed is all nice dry wood, and I feel pretty good as the snow falls down that I'm going to be pretty prepared for whatever comes our way. And then down at the bottom there, you can see we are getting a little bit of snow on the edge of the wood. That's going to dry out as soon as the storm stops, and then in a day or two of warm temperatures, you'll even know it was there. And there you can see, there's all the snow we're keeping off our wood. Now on this side, we're not getting as much wind, and you can see how there's actually no snow on the wood. And here again, the pile's about 4 foot tall, where I stopped neatly stacking it, but there's still another 6 inches to a foot of height there. And you know, it's just nice to see all this wood ready to go. I did have a viewer ask me how I went about tying down the tarps, and you know, it did take me a few tries to figure out exactly how I want to do it. But the first thing I did was I put my tarps on the hoop house, and I folded them back. There's about 8 inches or so folded back, and then I put a rope back to something to tie it to there, an anchor point. And I made sure that with this anchor point, it was going to pull the plastic back and keep it tight. I didn't want to pull it straight down. So that's what I did first. And then once I did that and had my tarps exactly where I wanted, I went ahead and put my anchor points. If you take a look, you can kind of see that they're all right between the holes in the tarp. Now the first time around, I did put my anchor points like every 2 feet. I tried to do something very systematic, but then I quickly learned it was actually better to not put my anchor points down until after I actually got the tarp up so they could be in the ideal spot. Then what I did is I just did a granny knot on one end here, and I wrapped it around a few times so it won't loosen up. And then I just went up and down and up and down and up and down the whole length of the house until the end here. And then in the end here, I actually I tied a knot in the rope with a loop. I'll put the camera on a tripod and show you, and made it something that I can tighten down. And what I did is first I put all these ropes on the house loosely. I didn't go for that final tightness. And then once I had both sides loosely attached, I think it took me only 2 tries, but it might have been 3. Little by little, I tightened them up. But the key is you don't want to make these tarps so tight that you pull off the holes in the tarp. You know, you want them to be snug, but not over tightened. And there was one on the other side. There's one on the other side here, which that hole already had been torn off on the tarp. So I had one of these in stock in the garage, and I just put that on. This is something I got at one of the big box stores to anchor a tarp, and that seems to be doing a nice job to hold the tarp up. So let me just show you how I went about anchoring these pieces of string here. And I can't say I was a Boy Scout and I know a bunch of cool knots. So I just did, you know, a simple knot that seems to be working okay for me. So what you can do is, as you've got your rope, what you can do is just tie a granny knot. If I were going to do this now, I would just tie a granny knot through the rope just like that and pull it tight. And you want to put that knot as far or as close to the hole as you can so you have some slack to pull in. So first you're going to make that loop. Then I just went around my anchor point back through the knot. And then this is my chance to put a little tension on it. And what I did is I went one at a time and I pulled the string from the other end, pulled the twine or rope from the other end, little by little, to bring all that tension down. You don't want to just pull it from this end, you want to snug it up all the way first. And then I went around my anchor point back through the loop, and then you can just put some tension on that rope. And you don't want to put so much tension that you're going to pull this out of the tarp. That's not good. Then you just take your finger and hold it so you can tie a knot without doing any damage. And then I usually do a draw loop where you double the rope over and pull it tight. And that way, if you want to get the knot out, you can just pull this end. And then I'll take my draw loop and tie a knot in that. And that'll keep the end tight. So all I have left to do is put a little bit more wood over here or start burning it. I'm just about out of my other wood pile, so I'm going to start burning out of the shed next. But I've had no problem getting the wood stacked in the shed. I know in the first video I said it was going to be kind of tough to load the wood because you can only reach in so far. I've done okay so far by using that third row of wood space. I just don't know once I start stacking the ends how far I'm going to be able to reach inside. I mean, I may just end up throwing some wood up there and using a stick to straighten it out or something, or maybe even like a ladder with a piece of wood on it to give me some access farther in. I'm sure I'll figure something out. But I still am quite pleased that for under $200, I have this nice wood shed, and I have all this wood that's nice and dry and ready to burn, and you know, it's not going to be something to fuss with to get the wood out. So thanks a lot for watching, folks, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.